want to start this off by saying I don't advise anyone do what I just did. The title isn't clickbait. I just got home from my last ever shift at my day job. It's an incredibly risky move for me to make because now I don't have any source of stable income, but it's something that I've thought very long and very hard about for years now. But I just want to say that right at the beginning because I don't want this video to come across as me telling anyone to quit their day jobs. It's very irresponsible and I'm fully aware of that. But you guys should know that when I started my channel in 2018, I sort of had my back against a wall in life. I was just out of college, not using my degree for anything, stuck at a dead-end job, and I wanted something to let out my creativity with, something that I've always had growing up. And I never had an outlet for it, and YouTube just kind of became the best course of action for me. But I'm sure you've all noticed that as of late, it's become incredibly difficult for me to maintain both this YouTube channel and the job that I was working. It was a part-time job, but the amount of stress, the amount of physical labor, hard physical labor, it put me in a place that was just not good for my mental and physical health. And that's the main reason why I quit. There are a lot of other underlying reasons that have to do with the job itself, and I kind of want to spare you all from most of the details, but I will delve into a little bit of why I decided to leave that place and why it stressed me out so much. So that's going to be the first part of this video. If you guys care at all about any of the interesting stories of customer service that I have to tell you, then you can stick around and watch this. Otherwise, there'll be a timestamp in the description, a chapter that you can click on to get to, I guess, the more important thing that this video is about, which is the future of this channel. So a lot of you may know that I worked at a grocery store, and I worked there for 10 years. I started in 2011, in September of 2011, as a front-end associate. For those of you who don't know what that means, that's basically cashier, bottle returns, bagging, cart pushing, and self-checkout. But when I started my job, I did so with the assumption that I was just going to be cashiering and maybe bagging every once in a while, back when bagging was a little more commonplace. And that's what it was for the first year. And that was probably the best time that I had at that store. I met a lot of really cool people, one of which became one of my best friends. Some of you may know him. I've mentioned him a few times. It's Bobby. This guy, who, by the way, he's in a band called Dreamwake, and they make fantastic music, and they just recently released an album that you should check out. Link in the description. So again, that first year was fantastic. I was just doing 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. shifts, going home, showering, eating, and going to class. But then a little bit down the line, I started to notice that they were pushing things on me a little bit more in terms of jobs that I never gave the okay and said that I wanted to do. And the two that really made me not like working on the front end anymore was self-checkout and bottle returns. I remember just randomly being thrown into bottle returns one day, showed the ropes, showed how to take care of the machines and print out the receipts for bottles that didn't get accepted. And I worked in there for a little bit, maybe a month or so. I didn't really like it, but luckily for me, they pulled me out of there and they started giving me self-checkout. And that's when the reality of working in retail, working in customer service became much more clear to me. You really start to see people's true colors when they're faced with terrible registers and they don't know how to work them. Sure, sometimes the registers would mess up, but a lot of it was just people completely inept. They can't even follow simple directions that the thing is telling you. And they would either blame me, blame the store, or blame the machines, instead of ever blaming themselves. I know I may sound a little bit dramatic when I'm talking about all this, but if you would have seen the way people behaved when things didn't go their way at the self-checkout, you would be on my side with this. But anyway, I have like 50,000 stories that I could tell about self-checkout, but in the sake of keeping things condensed here, I'm gonna move on. So fast forward maybe another year later, and I was thrown back into the bottle room, and this is where things just completely started to fall apart. Working in the bottle room was by far the most disgusting, stomach-churning thing I've ever had to deal with. And I don't wish that job on even my worst enemy. It was so bad. For context, I remember working during the summer was a nightmare in there. It was always busy, always packed full of people with multiple carts slamming bottles into the machines beeping and going off because they're full, and here I am trying to pull out the bag so I could swap them out and get the machines taken care of. 6 people yelling at me all at the same time in the sweltering hot bottle room with no air conditioner. I also remember there being one instance of a customer handing me a bag that was most likely sitting outside in the late July heat, baking in the heat. And I opened this bag and I was hit by the most nauseating smell I think I've ever smelled. I started with my hands outside of the bag. I started like shifting the bottles around to see what the deal was in there, how many I needed to cash them out for. And nachos. If you guys have any idea what nachos that have been sitting out in the summer heat for most likely months, baking in the sun in a black garbage bag, smells like and looks like, you don't want to know. Time continued to pass while I was in there, and my disdain for that place grew more and more by the day. And eventually they kind of took it easy on me with the bottle returns, and they put me on a different kind of shift, which is where I decided to switch departments. They were testing out this new curbside pickup thing. This was before the pandemic, so this was kind of new. I hadn't seen really any other company doing this. And the shift I usually worked was an 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. shift. So a 6-hour shift, not terrible in terms of the duration, but the work itself was very annoying. The last thing I wanted to do at 8 o'clock in the morning when I've had maybe about 4 or 5 hours of sleep is to go outside, move bins all over the place, check every single bin to see if the orders are all there, just to find out that either some haven't been delivered or it's totally wrong or there's things missing. So of course, me being the person giving these people their groceries and having to tell them that things didn't work out how they wanted, I was the one who got the forefront of the anger. And it was never fun. And on top of that, the worst part about it was anytime I did that shift, my boss, my direct manager, expected me when I wasn't taking care of customers outside. She expected me to go inside and do everything. I was covering breaks, I was doing bottle returns because they never put anybody on early in the morning, yet they opened it up for some reason. I would have to bag, I would have to do self-checkout. Did I already say that? I don't know. Cover breaks, everything that you can do. Putting overstock back, being a porter if they needed it. It was absolute nonsense. I was getting paid around $12 an hour to do 5-6 people's jobs all in one shift, and I had enough. I went behind my boss's back and I went to the hiring manager and told her, put me in literally any other department, and I will learn the ropes. I'll do everything you need, but I'm done. And that's when I started in the bakery. Things got a lot better because in the bakery, there's a lot more freedom. I'm not tethered to a register. I could take my break whenever I want. I could use the restroom whenever I want. I could have a bottle of water in the back area if I wanted to. And overall, just the expectations weren't as heavy on me because we had a lot of people there. We had 9 people in the department, which was pretty good for a store our size. So fast forward a couple of years and things started to, of course, take a turn for the worst again. People started leaving their positions, and the worst kicker was when the only nighttime full-timer that we had ended up getting transferred to another store. And we were promised that he would be replaced, but guess what didn't happen? They ended up somewhat replacing him by bringing a part-timer in, and then she left, and then another part-timer in, and then he left. And after that, he was never replaced. Most of the daytime people started to leave and find better jobs, and we went from 9 people to just now as I quit, having 6. And now that I'm gone, there's only 5. The level of expectation they had on the night crew, even though we were part-timers running an entire department, which is not how a business should be run, it was just absurd, absolutely absurd. The amount of physical labor, the amount of actual pain that I felt, physical pain by the time I would come home, my knees, my ankles, my back, everything hurt. And then it was 2018 when I started my YouTube channel. And back when I started the channel, it was a lot easier to get videos out, although I could only do 3 to 5 a week. But I got into this groove where I could get a video out every day. You guys remember, I went almost 2 full years posting 1 video every single day. But as my editing skills grew and some of the games that I play became longer games, it became almost impossible to keep up. And that's why lately I've been having so much trouble getting videos out. I used to be so proud of myself for doing it every day, and the moment I wasn't able to upload 1 video, I felt my entire mindset and motivation completely tanked. That, coupled with the unimaginable stress of trying to do that job, it was just too much for me. And I decided to take a step towards something that I thought I needed to take a step towards. And that was focusing on YouTube. So I gave them 6 weeks notice, and guess what they never did? They never got a replacement for me. But you know what? I gave them everything I could, and I was just done. And today I walked out of that store with my shoulders cocked back, my head held high, and I felt amazing. And I feel amazing that I don't ever have to go back there as an employee ever again. It was 10 years of nonstop stress, but there were some positives. I learned a lot about the value of money and hard work and how much work it actually takes to earn that money. I met a lot of amazing people, as you know, Bobby being one of them, and some of the people that I met have become genuine friends to me. And I also learned valuable skills in the customer service space. I know how to deal with the general public now. So any other job that I maybe decide to get within that realm, I have 10 years of experience with that. And, you know, there are some positives, obviously, to having worked there. Those are just some of them. But I have to turn a page, and I finally turned that page. I am so excited for the future of this channel, which is what I'm going to talk about next. First off, I want to start getting back to a video every single day, maybe sometimes double uploads, because I'm going to have all this extra time to just focus on this. Number 2, I want to do 2 live streams every week if possible. I have to work my way up to all of this, but I think I can actually manage to do this now that I don't have an external source of stress to bother me. Number 3, Discord server. I'm in the process of working on this server. I'm going to open it up hopefully at some point in mid-July, maybe early August. We'll see. I have to have a little bit of tweaking I have to do, and some people that I have to talk to maybe to help me figure it out, but I'm really excited for the Discord server. Number 4, channel memberships, and that's going to tie into the Discord server because there will be Discord access, exclusive access to the Discord server, and like more direct communication with me, among other things. I still have to come up with some ideas of some good benefits and rewards for those who decide to support me further on this channel. And number 5, I think I want to try starting some new channels within the coming years because I have some ideas and different realms of YouTube that I've always wanted to explore, but I've never had the time. Now I finally have the time. I also do plan on having a live stream week. I don't know if I'm going to do it this week as I was originally planning, just because this all kind of happened so fast and I just wasn't really mentally prepared for all of this to just happen like this. But I will be getting back to you guys about whatever week the live stream week is. Maybe next week, not this week. Maybe the week of July 3rd to July 9th is when I'll do my my live stream week. And I also have plans to start doing a little more live action IRL stuff. I really love hiking, and it's something that I've put on the back burner because I haven't had time to go to the place that I usually love to go to hike while doing my day job, while doing YouTube. So now that I have a little bit more extra time, I'm going to start doing that more often. I want to get in good shape again. I've really let myself go. I've gained a lot of weight and I just feel unhealthy. I don't get enough sleep. I don't eat very well. I sit down like all day. So you guys are going to kind of get a firsthand look at like my transformation. I'm going to be, hopefully by this time next year, a completely different person, both mentally and physically. I know this was a long video, but after 10 years at the company, I just had a lot to say about it. And also 4 years doing YouTube. I wanted to be fair to you guys and give you a little bit of an explanation of what I have coming up, what I'm planning. So I hope you guys are interested and look forward to it. I really do. I can't wait to see what happens with this channel, especially now that I'm going to have so much extra time to just put everything I have into this. And I will put everything I have into this channel. I'm really excited for the future, and I hope you'll all stick around for the ride. But for now, I'm going to leave this off here. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions or concerns, comments, anything you'd like to say, feel free to leave them down below. And yeah, I appreciate all of you for your support, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video. Take it easy.